I'm going to show you two solves side by side, and I want you to look at how fast my hands move in each of them. How to be sub 12. Number 1. Better F2L finger tricks. In the faster solve, my look ahead is a little bit better, but that's not the main reason why these solves have such different times. The main reason is because of the way I did the finger tricks. So you'll notice that in both solves, my hands are always moving. But in the second solve, I seem to get turns done a lot slower. And the reason is because the second solve only uses very basic finger tricks, while the first solve uses special finger tricks to reduce regrips and reduce pauses between the moves. So I kind of mentioned this in my how to be sub 15 video, but this is really important. How to increase your TPS or turns per second is not just about how fast you can turn, it's also about how little pauses there are between turns. So if you do U, for example, that's a lot slower than doing U2. So you can increase your turns per second a lot just by reducing the pauses between moves. That includes regrips during F2L. So like this, where you have to regrip your thumb to the bottom versus keeping it at the top and using your left hand to do U. So let me show you this F2L pair as an example. Normally what I do is put the corner over here and then do this to pair them up and then insert it in here. So what you might do with very basic finger tricks in this case is U2 over here like this, regrip and do this, and then insert like that. So here's the fastest I can do that. Now with more advanced finger tricks, you can do U2 as a double flick, then pair up these two without regripping your left hand like that, and then inserting as usual. And here's the faster version with optimized finger tricks. Number 2, optimize your algorithms as much as you can. For all of your last layer algorithms, you should try to optimize them, and that means reducing regrips by having better finger tricks, or if an algorithm is particularly bad for you, then learn a new one for that case. And also, if you often make a mistake in a certain algorithm, then drill that algorithm until you don't make mistakes anymore. So I can't cover everything you can do for every case right now, but I can tell you the most important things that I find people struggle with but don't try to change. So the number one thing is A-perms. You have to do D2, not just D. So like this. If you just do D twice, here's as fast as I can do it. And then if you do D2, which is pinky ring or ring and then pinky, then you can do it a lot faster. Another algorithm that people seem to just settle with is G-perms. So a lot of people use the wide move G-perms. These are okay, but I know a lot of people really dislike them. I personally dislike them a lot, and I just switched to the RUD versions, which are like this. And like this. So if you really hate G-perms, then maybe you can give these ones a try. Another optimization you can do is for this algorithm, which is F, reverse sexy move, F prime. Now, I know a lot of people don't know this finger trick, which is F with your thumb backwards. It's weird at first, because what happens is often you turn two layers at once by accident, and the trick is to just put your other pinky on the center here, and then it won't move. So this finger trick, it's not necessary, but it makes this algorithm and a few other algorithms so much faster. Basically, most of the algorithms that start with an F move, you can take advantage of this turn. So like this. And you can see how fast that was. There were no regrips. So if you do this sort of thing where you find really good finger tricks for as many algorithms as you can, then you'll just find your last layer is just faster. It's not just faster for a few cases, it's faster for like almost every single case. Number 3, using algorithms to reduce F2L rotations. So normally I say that for each F2L pair, you should have a maximum of only one cube rotation. If you have to rotate the cube more than once, then you're probably not doing the best solution. Sometimes you can reduce a case that should have one rotation down to 0 rotations. So let's take a look at this case. Normally you'd want to be facing this way, so you can do something like this. Insert the corner and then get this case. But if you're facing this angle, then there are a few things you can do. If they're like this, you can do F, reverse sexy move, F prime, and then that pairs them up to insert. Now if you have them at the back over here, then you can insert the edge like this, do a sledgehammer, and then insert the pair. So now both cases a bit faster. So from here, and then from the back. Now let's take a look at this case. So normally you'd have to, well, you could pair them up first, then rotate and then insert. But from here, you can do it like this. So again, faster. So there are a lot more examples and I have videos just for this. So check the description for rotationless F2L cases, but I'm just going to show one more and that's this one. So you could do it like this. And faster. Number 4, improving your look ahead for F2L. You can check the description for my video on F2L look ahead. I think it's one of my more useful videos, but of course I'm going to offer some new insights here as well. So you know that feeling when you solve an F2L pair and then you look for your next pieces? So like this one, insert into the back, and then now I look, pause, then continue. Yeah, well that pause shouldn't exist anymore. So when you're going to sub 12, sub 10, sub anything basically from this point on, you have to get rid of those. So anytime you finish a pair and then you stop, look, continue, the stop and look should not be there anymore. You should already know what you're going into next as you finish your F2L pair. So think about that next time when you solve, whether it's you're doing slow solves for practice or you're doing fast solves and timed. Anything basically from this point on, you have to get rid of those. So anytime you finish a pair and then you stop, look, continue, the stop and look should not be there anymore. You should already know what you're going into next as you finish your F2L pair. How often do you run into that situation where your fingers don't immediately know what to do next? How can you eliminate that? Is it by looking more at the back slots? Is it by making sure that you're always looking away from your F2L pair? Is it by making sure that if this side is solved, you're looking at this side? There are a lot of things that you can do to ensure that your look ahead can be better. The improvements that you can make is different for each person, so make sure you evaluate what you can do better. Number 5, never look at the back face. Looking at the back face during solves is not extremely slow, but it's like not the best option you could do in any instance. When I think about looking at the back face, to me, it's like a substitution for what could be a better habit. So let's take this example in F2L. So you have this piece and this piece, and you're going to have to rotate in order to insert them. So you could pair them up like this and insert into the back, or you could rotate to the front and insert into the front like this. Now, if you had inserted it into the front, you now have this corner, and if you do U moves, you won't find anything else that goes with this corner or with any of the pairs at the back. So what you might do in this case is look at the back. So the reason looking at the back face is not good here is because firstly, you can just rotate and then you can find some pieces. But even before that, inserting into the back slot for this pair earlier means you now have open front slots, which means you can look for your next pieces more easily. Now, you might not consider that a problem if you just always look to the back and accepted that pause, but if you stop looking at the back, then you can develop some better habits instead that make you not need to look at the back. So if you had inserted this into the back slot, you now have open front slots and you can easily see what to do next. Now, the same goes for OLLs. When you see this case, it could be any of two cases. Either the corner stickers, the yellow corner stickers are over here, or they're over here. Now, looking at the back is definitely not the best option for finding out which one it is, because you can just look at either side and you won't see the yellow stickers here, so then they must be over here. And for OLLs, you really only ever have to look at two sides plus the top. So if you look at the back for OLLs, then you really need to change that. Looking at the back or looking at all sides for PLL is also bad because it takes a bigger pause than you think it does, and you can recognize from only two sides. So recognizing from two sides can be hard sometimes, but usually it's not going to be very hard. A lot of people just learn this from experience, but if you want a breakdown of every single case you could run into, then you can check the description for two-side recognition resources. And the last thing I want to say is to practice towards what you envision yourself doing in the future. If in the future, for example, you want to know VLS or you want to know ZBLL, you want to know any algorithm set, or maybe you want to insert an F2L case a certain way, but your muscle memory keeps bringing you back to how you used to insert it. Keep practicing those new things and keep learning new things too.